Nothing's gonna ever keep it down.
Morning glory and hallelujah, everybody. It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to Wednesday, guys. It is the 17th day of November. November, where am I?
Yeah, where
am I
are
okay?
you? No.
Have I lost time? Did I time travel?
Probably.
Why am I thinking it's November?
What's it like in the future?
Awful. Run away.
Run to where?
I don't know. Too many questions. It is the 17th of September, 2025. My name is Nick. Big J is right over yonder, dude.
I'm right here.
Big J, can I tell you something that might be throwing me off?
Okay.
I bit my tongue so goddamn hard yesterday.
Oh, no, man.
That, it's still, swollen, to the point where I'm making, mental plans that at some point I will bite it again because it's so swollen today.
Yeah.
That it's just I know I'm going to take another chunk out of that.
What were you eating?
I wasn't eating anything. That's the worst part about it.
Well, you had to be chewing something.
No, I think I was talking or something like that, and I just bit my tongue. Yeah, it was a real Tasmanian devil situation, and it was not good. Because it didn't happen while I was eating anything, but it feels like I have a cut on my tongue now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
And it's just the worst. It's the worst. Everything's terrible. But what do we do? We sally forth, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
And we get ready for a Wednesday show. Big J spent his Tuesday night watching a film. That film was called Friendship. And before we hit the 7 o'clock hour, he's going to let you know what he thought about the movie that you picked out for him and if it's worth your time or not. We have X-Fest tickets that we are going to give away. That will happen. And we also have an opportunity for you to learn what your power hours are. Your first keyword in textual healing is coming your way a little bit after 9 o'clock this morning.
Healing.
We're going to hell, headlines, all of it. So it will be a good Wednesday show. But we also play music, so let's start with some Green Day. When I Come Around is kicking things off here on the morning after with Nick and Big J on the X-Rocks.
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The morning after with Nick and Big J.
Important stuff brought to you by Be Our Guest this Friday, 9 o'clock, xrock.com. Be our guest to Johnny's Pizza in Meridian, dude. Family owned and operated right there at the corner of Main and Fairview in downtown Meridian. Everything is homemade and from scratch. It's pretty awesome. They got some gluten-free options as well. So check out Johnny's Pizza. Amazing flavor, no big price tag. And you can grab a large one-topping pizza for $9.99. That is dine-in, carry-out, or get it delivered via DoorDash or Uber Eats. So there are deals to be had. You can grab $50 worth for $25 for Be Our Guest this Friday, 9 o'clock, xrock.com. Go check it out. Big J?
Yeah.
The Nampa City Council has officially voted 4 votes to 2. And they have declared the Fort Idaho Center as underutilized. Your response, please.
I'd probably.
You want more things happening there?
Well, I don't know. What's supposed to happen there?
Well, it's a good question.
You know?
And if you want that answer, a public hearing is going to go down on October 6th to discuss potential options for the property. What does it look like? How busy do you want it to be? All of those particular things. And figuring out what they want to do with it as far as a future property. So you're invited to share your thoughts and your opinions on this particular matter during that hearing. So if you don't have any plans on October 6th, maybe you find out the answer. Be like our neighborhood reporter.
Channel 6 has got that covered.
Yeah, but they don't talk to us anymore.
I'm all right.
Okay. I thought you cared about your community.
Well, my community is in Middleton, not in Nampa.
You don't care about the Fort Idaho Center? Don't tell X-Fest that.
Of course I care. Listen, they're going to continue to make it a concert venue because it's the only thing that makes it money.
No, it's one of the many things that I'm very confused about. I understand what the word underutilized means, but what does that mean in terms of a venue? Because it does feel like it's fairly busy.
There's a lot that's there.
Yeah.
There's the horse park.
Yeah.
There's an additional building that they use for expos and things like that. Mm-hmm. They've got a lot of stuff. I think they probably think we should probably be making more money using that. But how? And, there's a lot that can be done, I guess.
Yeah. And as you learn, there are some things that make sense to happen out there, and some things just are too big or aren't big enough for the Fort Idaho Center. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just because you have a venue doesn't mean you should put something in there. That's how things lose a ridiculous amount of money. It has to be the right thing to make sense.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, we like smaller acts, but you can't put a smaller act there just because it's open. Because it's a 17,000 person, kind of place.
And there were a few outdoor shows this year that struggled greatly because they were identified as an artist that shouldn't be in that big of a venue.
Yeah. And what do? They move those shows or they whatever. It's one of those situations. So not sure what it means.
Which was frustrating because we were like, there's a couple shows that would do really well out there.
Yeah.
That if it wasn't clogged up.
We said when they were announced, we're like, really? The Fort Idaho Center for that band? Okay. But either way, it's I don't know if they're to have a problem with booking in particular or if it's something else. So October 6th is when you get your
we would
answers.
also like to see like that staged platform that they have get a little bigger.
Yes.
Because we know
firsthand
firsthand that there are more than enough productions that can't get their stuff on there.
Make no mistake about it. I don't think that meeting is about how much money can we put into the Fort
I
Idaho
understand
Center.
that, totally.
It's how much money can we get out of the Fort Idaho Center. The U.S. Open was a smash hit, Big J. Great weather in New York City during the tournament. That helped draw a record 1.14 million fans, Big J, to watch live tennis in person. Also, big hit on TV. The men's final was watched by an average of 3 million viewers. That's an 82% surge from last year and their best number since 2015. The biggest hit, Big J, at the tennis tournament, though, the booze. Tournament officials say that they sold a ton of cocktails, 32% increase in alcohol consumption at tennis, because one would argue, Big J, sometimes you have to be hammered to watch a ball go back and forth that often. You know what I mean? As somebody used to play tennis. It is something that is fun and interesting to watch, and it's very hoity-toity, Big J, and people like to be seen at things, so that all makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Why it was such a huge hit. Speaking of huge hits, Wednesday Season 2 is officially won. It has entered Netflix's most popular English language TV list. It has reached the number 10 on that list. 95.4 million views. The new season replaced Stranger Things Season 3 on the chart, but the series does join Wednesday Season 1, which remains Netflix's top English language show. Big J, guess how many views has the first season of Wednesday have gotten on Netflix? If you know, number 10 is 95 million.
120?
You're way low.
250?
You're close. 252.1 million views. On the film side, it is K-pop Demon Hunters. And to give you an idea of how much people are consuming television more than movies, Demon Hunters is the number one movie on Netflix with 22.6 million views. That's all time. And Netflix, again, has, about 10 times that. So, yeah, Wednesday's a pretty popular thing. I guess people don't go to Netflix for movies. I think it's probably just the turnover. You know what I mean? It seems like shows stay more prevalent on your front page because sometimes there's a new season that gives you that kind of thing. And then movies that are made are just gone once they're gone.
And we're not getting enough of numbers to really do a true analysis of the difference between it. We're just told how many hours people are watching.
Yeah. But then
it's not like how many different households and, that sort of thing.
Correct. You have no idea how many people, just how many times the show was clicked on. Yes, you're absolutely right. And we still don't know what a view means to Netflix. Is that something more than 10 seconds? Is it a complete view?
Yeah.
These are all personally defined terms. Morning After with Nick and Big J. That is it for important stuff. It is the X Rocks.
Here's traffic inside.
Sweet child of mine here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. We went to Vegas a little bit earlier this year, Big J, and I think both of us can agree that place is just not the same as it was, right?
Yeah, it's are we different or is Vegas different?
No, I think Vegas is different for lots of reasons.
I feel different.
It could be both. The answer could be both of us.
Yeah.
But I think the more drastic changes have come from Las Vegas just because a couple of reasons. Number one, they're really struggling to get people into the actual city to tour because it has, I truly think, priced the average person out of a weekend trip to Las Vegas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that has something to do with it. And it's too family friendly.
There's not enough debauchery.
There's not enough sinning going on in Sin City.
All right.
It's hard to get. And listen, I'm one and have said and stated for a long time that I'm pro legalization of marijuana. That being said, I don't know if it needs to be like something you're smoking while walking down the street, especially when there's families and everything and kids around. It's, that's a whole nother issue. But I mean, I think there's a lot to the fact that, yeah, it's become more of a family destination. But just like Disney, families can't afford that.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine taking a family of like 4 or 5 people to Vegas?
There's about 19 billion other places I would take my family on a trip.
But let's
before we go
say,
to
hey,
Vegas.
kids, we're going to Circus. No, I mean, it would cost a fortune.
Yeah. Plus, they'd also be more excited about Dave & Buster's than they would be about Circus.
Just go to your local Dave & Buster's.
Yeah. And then I also think, like, the de-escalation of human being interaction, like everything's now you're gambling with robots. It's just a lot less fun than it used to be, and it's expensive. And now, Big J, another thing that you love about Vegas is going away. The buffets, dude.
They're going away?
Yeah, pretty much. There's only like 3 or 4 left that are like the places that you go to.
We can never get in there.
No, the lines are nuts. But you could always depend on having some kind of cheap all-you-can-eat buffet going on if you lost all your money at the casino. But today, many of those buffets are shut down because food halls, Big J, those are the new things. Cafeteria-style food courts featuring everything from sushi to gourmet burgers. Wanting what you want when you want. It's kind of like a buffet, but not all you can eat. There's just different choices. It's like everything is like the food court at the mall, if you will. But these are obviously more upscale because of Las Vegas, and they want it a little bit trendier. The downside, they are also not nearly as inexpensive as the old buffets, so there's also more money to be thrown in. But there's really only, like, the Caesar's Palace buffet is still like the only, like, destination buffet in Las Vegas right now.
I guess, yeah.
And so it becomes a bit, I mean, I don't know if people travel to Las Vegas for that, but it was always nice to have
weird.
that.
That'd be weird.
I mean, the last time, I guess you didn't stand in line for the fast food, but I mean, the bagel place we went to, we were in line for what, 45 minutes or something like that, right?
Well, we were.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You weren't.
I understand how lines work. But I could certainly think that it's what you want, you have to wait a serious long time for at this point now.
Yeah.
Which is Las Vegas in a nutshell. Morning After with Nick and Big J. How was Friendship, the movie that you made Big J watch last night? We'll find out together next on the X. That's STP tripping on a hole in a paper heart here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Yesterday, you guys selected a movie for Big J to watch, so he went home and did exactly that. That movie was called Friendship. It's on HBO Max. Big J, what'd you think of the movie?
Yeah, Friendship. It's a movie about friendship. Paul Rudd in this, he plays a neighbor that just kind of moved in, Nick, and a cool guy, I guess, if you will.
A real Paul Rudd archetype.
Yeah. I mean, and that character arc gets weird, too. I mean, maybe weird at the beginning and then gets normal, but also you got Tim Robinson in this. If you don't know who that is, get ready. If you're going into this blind, you're like, oh, it's a movie about friendship with Paul Rudd. This will be fun. You're in for a wild ride because Tim Robinson is a weird dude. Have you ever seen? Has he ever done anything normal?
Normal? No. I mean, he was basically a comedian. Then he went to Saturday Night Live. Then he went to Detroiters, and then he went to If You Think I Should Leave. I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah, he's. I Think You Should Leave is like a good warm up for this movie. And basically, Tim Robinson's character here his name is Craig. He's got a kind of a mundane marketing job. His wife, in a relationship with his wife, is very strange and weird and kind of on the outs. She is recovering from cancer, and they have a unique relationship, Nick. And he's a unique individual. Like, he's got a lot of, a lot of angst, anxiety stuff going on. He doesn't really have any friends, and I think that's the problem, and that's what this movie's about.
He plays a very good socially awkward person.
I think he is socially awkward. I don't think he's playing it at all. And so basically, he gets some mail from the neighbors, and he's like, I got to take this down. And then he walks it down, and then he starts this bromance, kind of falls in love, really. It's really like Single White Female, but for males. And he gets locked in on Paul Rudd's character, and it unfolds in there. But here's the thing you have to understand is that the comedy and the bits here, I mean, it's absurd and over the top in a way that is hard to describe. It's like, sometimes it's hilarious. Other times it's cringy and you feel uncomfortable.
I think you're supposed to.
Yeah, you're supposed to feel. If you don't feel uncomfortable, there's something wrong with you. And there are moments where it lasts for like 15 minutes. You're like, man, this is so weird. I feel so bad what's going on. And you've been in those situations before, and just not at this extreme. And so, it's got some real laugh out loud moments. I think an unheralded character in this movie, Nick, is Tim Robinson's coat.
The coat?
Like, is that a choice like he made? Like,
It
you know
has
what?
to be.
I'm going to wear this coat the entire movie, and people are going to be like, I'm going to wear it like it's the coolest coat that's ever. But it's like I went to Burlington Coat Factory and picked, like, that's how he came up with the movie. That's how they came up with They went to Burlington Coat Factory, they picked out a coat and said, we're going to make a movie around this. And that's kind of what you get. So it's absurd. If you're having a rough time in life, watch this movie. You'll feel better about yourself. So yeah, it's approved, but it's not for everybody. I think that there are some people who can't get down with that absurd comedy style will probably bail out after 25 minutes or so.
Yeah,
of the movie.
I think if you're a Tim Robinson fan, this movie is for you. But also, if you're not, as long as you don't go in thinking it's going to be a slapstick comedy, I think you will have your eyes open to a very different. I think it's supposed to induce a lot of uncomfortableness and cringe in you because it's a very every relationship Craig is in is very cringy. Every single one.
Yeah.
And Tim Robinson plays a really good guy that you just want to go, oh, dude, no, why, no? And so that's kind of the response I think he's getting.
Until the end of that arc, and then you're like, God, kill him, murder this guy, do something. And I don't want to spoil too much here, Nick, but I think the very end of the movie, like there's a moment and I'm like, I'm not sure what that means.
You'll have to tell me what you mean.
And it's Paul Rudd's wink at the end. And I'm not going to explain why or how that comes by, but I don't understand. Is that...
Because they're best friends.
I guess. Maybe he's still happy that he kept his secret. But either way, friendship is approved, and it's ridiculous and absurd, and it will help you maybe be less awkward in real life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I doubt it. It hasn't helped so far, and I think you should leave if it's been on for 3 seasons. Morning After with Nick and Big J. It is available on HBO Max if you want to check it out. We have got some important stuff as well as some We're Going to Hell next on the X.
Nick and Big J.
Important stuff brought to you by T Mazda, the pre-owned superstore. Getting financed at T Mazda even easier now thanks to GoTeamCredit.com. Everybody gets pre-approved. Not a single effect on your credit, so log on to GoTeamCredit.com and try it out for yourself. Big J, they did a survey of adults in relationships that also happen to live together. You understand? Doesn't have to be married. It doesn't have to be they have to share the same house. And they wanted to know what they argue over the most. Big J, outside of money, of course, that's number one. What do you think the number two thing is that couples argue about if they live together? It's a very specific thing. I'll put it that way.
It's got to be chores of some kind.
It's around that particular type of chore, as a matter of fact.
Cleaning the bathroom.
No bathroom. Wrong room.
Dishes?
Right around there, yes. The dishwasher is the number one most argued about appliance and the number two most argued about thing overall. It comes in at number two. 61% of couples say they have some sort of ongoing argument about the dishwasher in some way, shape, or form. Then kids come in at number three, Big J. So they got into the deep dive of it. They're like, okay, this dishwasher is such a point of contention. What is it you're arguing about, Big J? And it varies. Basically, you have disagreeing kind of methods as to how you load things into the dishwasher. Some people like to...
This is so funny, dude. I was unloading the dishwasher yesterday.
Yes.
And I'm like, clearly I didn't load this because stuff is all over the place. Like, I am at some points, I'm OCD, and I'm like, I want all the knives in a knife slot, spoons,
Sure.
forks,
Do
all
you
of
care
that.
which side there goes up and which side goes down in the
I want them
utensil?
all to be the same.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't
that's
care
OCD.
if it's upside down or inside, and I just like that. It's just easier to put in and then take out.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yeah. And so there's that. There's also the stacking methods. There's the pre-rinsing requirements. There's the way that it all goes down. 92% of people surveyed feel like the way that they load and unload the dishwasher is better than what they've seen other people do. So there's a lot of self-confidence around our dishwasher skills. And whatever way we're doing it, we think we're right, and whoever else is doing it different is 100% wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. It's just if I'm doing it, it means somebody else didn't do this job. By the way, I cook all the meals, so I'm having to cook and clean. So that's when I get, as in the no care area. I'm like, I don't care if you like the way I'm doing this. You ain't doing it.
Fair enough. And that is fine. So nobody has the gall to disagree with you when it comes to the dishwasher stuff.
Well, no, they can. I just don't give a damn.
Okay.
I'm like, you should be happy. I'm loading this thing to begin with. If you don't like it, do it.
There's the door, right? And ironically, about 18% of relationships have broken up because of dishwasher arguments, according to this survey. Yeah,
that's the reasoning?
It's serious. Well, I mean, I'm sure it starts there and then gets into something, and then somebody says something stupid, and then feelings are hurt, and then all sorts of things go on. It's amazing what sets off arguments and what can transition from what a small argument into something completely different, i.e. what you're actually angry about.
Yeah, I mean, I get into those arguments with the kids all the time, but it's not with the wife. It's weird. We don't argue like that.
No.
So
we've heard how you argue.
The kids, sure, man. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Over dishes.
Especially if they don't live there.
Not anymore.
Big J, Tom Brady's role as an announcer on Fox and part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders just got a little bit trickier as the NFL has started a little bit of a look under the hood once again because Tom Brady was at the Monday Night Football game when the Chargers took on the Raiders. Now, here's where it gets complicated. Tom Brady was up in the coach's box of the Raiders coaching staff, which, of course, he is a part owner. He's allowed to be. But he also had headphones on, which means he was hearing the plays as they come in, and he was deciphering them. And it's all a mess because this is exactly what the NFL wanted to avoid with Tom Brady also being a journalist that has unprecedented access to the other 31 NFL teams that other owners don't have. And he is having pre-production meetings with a lot of these coaches talking about strategy and all this other kind of stuff. And they feel like there's this really blurred line between you're a broadcaster getting inside information to make the broadcast go as well as it can so that you know what the teams have planned, but also you're an owner that can leak information to your coaching staff. And if you're that close to the product, how is some of the information you're getting in these pre-production meetings not making its way into that room?
Yeah, he's obtuse to the optics.
Yes.
And he doesn't understand. Maybe he does, and he doesn't think it's an issue. But I mean, not only I think if it was any other broadcaster, I don't think people would give a damn. But it's Tom Brady, who, by the way, played for the Patriots, who had 2 cheating scandals.
Right.
So immediately, that's part of the optics that Tom Brady, I don't think, is quite understanding that's there. So he should be, if he's going to do this stuff, make it real, not up in front like we can all see it like that. Because that's the first thing everybody's thinking of is like, man, that's kind of like not the best person to be doing this because we have seen where maybe he's not on the up and up in some regards.
Well, Tom Brady may not think it's a big deal. The NFL maybe even may not think it's a big deal, nor Fox, because they all continue to do these things. But other teams are thinking it's a big deal. Tom Brady is set to call the Cowboys-Bears game on Sunday. Both teams have said we're not meeting with this guy until it's all resolved. So now you're getting a less of a educated report by your color commentator that's paid hundreds of millions of dollars to do that job by a network that now isn't allowed access that other broadcasters are allowed because of these conflicts of interest. I feel like at this point, what do you do if you're Fox? I mean, you're not getting your money's worth, that's for sure, out of this Tom Brady deal.
I don't know. This is what they want. We're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't make
calling games.
It doesn't make, but he can't call a game as accurately as somebody else can, I guess is my point.
I mean, I still think Fox doesn't care about that part.
I guess not. I mean, it all depends on who people tune in, but I also just don't think Tom Brady's that good of a broadcaster, but that's just me, I suppose. Big J, it seems like movies are coming to streaming sooner than ever, and as a matter of fact, the new Superman film is going to arrive on HBO Max on September 19th. Yes, the James Gunn Superman film that felt like it just debuted in theaters is going to be streaming coming up this Friday in 2 days. And so, of course, David Corenswet is Superman. Rachel Brosnahan is Lois Lane. Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor. The upcoming DC Studios projects does include the HBO series Lanterns. Of course, Peacemaker is currently on HBO. And then we have a Supergirl film coming out in 2026. But I am surprised how quickly the Superman has made the jump from it's available on digital now to it's streaming 2 days later.
And James Gunn says this is intentional, that he intended it to be this short, kind of stay. He wanted it to get into a place where everybody could see it for the rest of the things that are unfolding and having that on stream. That's what his reasoning is for it.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, like, it's still on a pay-to-play kind of a place. You still have to pay to see it if you're not an HBO Now or Max subscriber, so there's that. But listen, I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to checking it out again. I'm just surprised that window is getting shorter and shorter, even for gigantic blockbuster films. And yes, James Gunn is developing this thing, and so he wants you to do your homework so some of these things make sense, a la the Marvel Cinematic Universe did back in the day. He's trying to tell a singular story as well. And so there's a lot of bells and whistles to it. So the sooner maybe you can see it, if you don't want to go to the theater, now you have that option. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. We're going to go to hell next on the X.
Right. Stories that are incredibly f***ed up. Oh, man, we're going to hell.
Oh, you know they're both going to hell, right?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X rocks.
Home sweet home for We're Going to Hell, Big J.
Boise, Idaho?
Nah.
Oh,
The home for We're Going to Hell.
Florida.
Yep, we'll see you down in Florida.
It's been a minute.
For today's story, Tampa to be specific. And things got a little sketchy around 2:30 in the morning this last weekend in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, no.
About 2:35, Tampa police received a call about a vehicle going the wrong way on I-84, one of the larger interstates in that particular state. And did I say I-84?
Yeah, you did.
I-4.
All right. That's all right.
And spotted a silver Toyota Camry speeding westbound in the eastbound lanes at around 80 miles per hour. Now that, Big J, is dangerous.
Wrong direction, friends.
That is not what you want to do. Granted, there's not a lot of cars on the road at that particular time, but all it takes is one. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And that's it. So they obviously start a pursuit. The 24-year-old driver behind the wheel refused to pull over. So that started what we like to call a high-risk pursuit.
Yep.
In the process, she ended up striking a police cruiser before finally being caught and stopped with our old friend, a pit maneuver, Big J.
Tried and true.
Her name is Kristen Beal, and she gets out of the car, Big J, and an officer asked her, quote, "Do you realize that you're going the wrong way on the interstate, ma'am?" And she appeared very confused, and she replied, quote, "On this interstate? This car? Are you serious?" And as they kind of continue the conversation, the officer asked her where she was driving to, and she says, quote, "I wasn't driving. My husband was." And here's the problem, Big J. Nobody else in the car. Never anybody else was in the car.
Maybe he's a ghost.
Now, yeah, or invisible. Maybe he has the powers of invisibility.
All right.
I don't want to jump to any kind of conclusions. And then the doctor,
Florida.
the officers were like, "Okay, well, where were you tonight?" And she was like, "I was at a couple of bars." And she's like, "Okay, did you have any drinks?" And she said, "I might have had 3 full drinks, sure." So they did a field sobriety test, Big J. Would you be shocked to find out that Kristen was absolutely hammered? Big J?
I would not be surprised.
She was well over 2 times the legal limit. So
Hammered!
She ended up being charged with a DUI as well as fleeing police at a high speed. That's not okay. Yeah. She looks very discombobulated in the body cam footage that I have of this particular story. And it's clear that she's just having, a night. Don't know if it has something to do with alcohol or something more. Also, do not know if she's actually married or that whole thing was just completely fictionalized. I don't know.
Either way, she's very lucky.
Oh, hugely lucky. And I mean, she came out of the pit maneuver uninjured, so she's fine. But
you got a hell of a ride.
One of those situations where it's like, okay, do you know you're having hallucinations of your husband being the vehicle? Who do you think is driving? Is it a real Fight Club scenario? I don't know what's going on.
Fortunate because I do my best not to be put in this position, Nick, to get a DUI in all this, but I got to imagine that sometimes in police reports, and we should talk to our friends at the advocates about this, when you see the video footage of you hammered, that's got to suck, right? You have to feel so much shame.
Even the mugshots that were happening, you just go, God, so dumb.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people think that way, and I think that's why it continues to be a problem.
Okay.
I mean, hindsight is 20/20, but it's a very preventable situation.
What are all the radio people going to be talking about that day?
Yeah, think about it.
Big J got pulled over. Woo!
You know you have people that are scanning Ada County Sheriff rosters just for that scenario.
Oh, yeah.
When does Big J get his? When does he get his? Never. Big J's above the law. Morning after Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X Rocks.
Sir, please fasten your belt.
Oh.
Your other belt.
It's time. Here's today's Aftershock Power Hours. Qualify for a trip to the Aftershock Festival, only from 100.3 VX Rocks.
These Aftershock Power Hours are going just great, Big J. People are calling, qualifying, attempting to get a ride. They're not always correct in the amount of bands that they guess, but Big J, sometimes it pays to just be diligent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Maybe you catch the right hour. Next thing you know, you're qualified for a trip for two to Aftershock. You could win one of the bonus tickets on Fridays that we're blowing out here for the Aftershock Music Festival. So you never know how it's going to all come together, but you need to know the Aftershock Power Hours that you have to pay closer attention to make sure you have a chance. What are they today, Big J?
Today they are 10 a.m. and 5 p.m.
All right. So we're doing a rare double shot today for a couple of chances to get qualified. And if you're not familiar with how Power Hours work, during those hours, we are going to showcase and highlight artists that are performing at the Aftershock Music Festival. You have to keep a numerical count of how many of those artists we showcase during that hour, and then call in or text in when you're prompted to do so. If you have the correct number, you are qualified as long as you are on the other line or the text that is received that works out. So it's a pretty easy contest. You just got to pay a little bit of attention. We don't even ask you to memorize the lineups. We give you a little bit of an intro before each one of the artists. So technically, you just have to pay attention to those, right, Big J?
Yeah.
And then you have the correct number. So what are those hours again?
10 a.m. and 5 p.m.
That's when you're going to want to pay a little closer attention for the Aftershock Power Hours. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Important stuff next on the X Rocks.
Stuff. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Important stuff brought to you by Idaho Preferred. Big J, happy Idaho Preferred month to you, dude.
Oh, yeah, you too, man. Go buy some Idaho stuff.
How are you celebrating?
I try to buy as much Idaho-made things as I can this month to celebrate.
Yeah, and I don't mean to break news to you, but you'll also be celebrating this Saturday from 3 to 5 at the Walmart on 10 Mile and McMillan.
That's really what you were trying to get to.
I was hoping you would
I
pick
did
up
not
what I
pick
was
up on that.
laying down. But yeah, it's happening, a live broadcast. Big J will be out there on Saturday, encouraging you to do exactly what he just did. Why don't you buy Idaho Preferred things? There's lots of ways you can do that at the Walmart. Big J will be hanging out with their Idaho produce, cheeses on special, all sorts of cool stuff.
You just stop at cheese.
Okay. Idaho cheese on special. This Saturday, 3 to 5, Walmart at 10 Mile and McMillan with the X. So go out there and support Idaho Preferred with Big J. Big J, your phone is around you pretty much 100% of the time. Agree or disagree?
Usually, yeah.
What percentage of that 100% is it being used? Are you using it for a phone, on a phone conversation with somebody on your cellular device?
I mean, I'll give you a percentage, probably 15%.
Okay. So it's mostly used for other things besides the actual purpose of the invention.
Yeah,
yes?
really more email,
Yeah,
social media,
of course.
all that.
A study of about 20,000 Americans said that, yeah, we love having cell phones, obviously, but we only use it about 15% of the time as a cell phone. But we still consider phone calls the most meaningful connection method in the year 2025. Even though we text more frequently, we have other ways of communicating with each other more frequently. Talking to somebody is a meaningful connection still to a majority of us. It deepens our emotional bonds. It helps us understand people's emotions. We can direct real-time tone in people's voices, so there is actual benefit to having a phone conversation with somebody. Additionally, people say phone calls with their loved ones, highlights of their day, usually, unless they're getting into an argument with them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And here's another equal kind of thing. Apparently, we are spending just as much time on phone calls as we do sending voice notes. Is that something that you do on a regular basis?
No, it's not.
I used to, but not so much anymore at all for me either. But apparently, we're spending about 25 minutes per day on our cell phone, on phone calls, and about 25 minutes per day doing like voice notes or sending voice messages as well. Or maybe text to speak counts as that too. Do you do that at all?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Not something I partake in.
28% say they think that voice notes are a little bit more helpful than texts as well to find out if somebody's being sarcastic or finding out the emotion in their actual message as opposed to everything written down. But we still text more by far than any other form of communication. That's how we talk to each other.
And I still text I don't use abbreviations, except for LOL.
No, Big J's all emoticon. And you have to try to decipher what's happening with this conversation with that.
No, it's not. That's usually just when we're going back and forth. No.
Or memes.
Sometimes
you've been meme battle me.
When you just simple words that get be right back or whatever, those kind of things. I write all that out. I don't just.
You don't do BRB?
Yeah, or.
You do LOL a lot. Come on.
I do, but I just don't want you to take offense to what I'm saying.
I rarely do. If you ever thought there was a lot more long field goals getting made in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, you are not alone. It could be about the balls. Before this season, teams used special kicking footballs that players did not have access to until game days. But for this year, teams have received 60 footballs for the season before the start of training camp, and kickers were allowed to work in those footballs to shape them the way that they want. The move has paid off. There has been more made field goals of 50-plus yards than there in Week 2 than any other season since 2000. So that is paying off for them. They have a chance to kind of manhandle those balls a little bit, and it makes it easier to make those long-distance ones. What do you think about that, Big J?
It's pretty cool.
And it probably will get better as the season goes on because they're using those same 60 footballs again and again and again and again and again. So there's that. So you got to be careful if it's your favorite ball, you don't miss it too wide left and it goes into the stands and then it's gone. You know what I mean?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that stuff. So we'll see how it goes as the season progresses, but it could be a better season for field goal kicking than people have anticipated. ESPN has announced they're going to expand their WWE partnership by producing original programming tied to a new WrestlePalooza event on September 20th. The network will air 2 pre-shows, ESPN WrestlePalooza Special. That will happen on September 19th in the afternoon on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. And then the Road to WrestlePalooza will happen on September 20th at 4 p.m. across ESPN's social platforms and apps. So they're trying to lead up into this big partnership with the WWE, and they're going to do some pregame shows on ESPN. Does it bother you, Big J, that ESPN is getting so much into sports entertainment that's kind of set up in advance as opposed to sporting events? Does it feel like a sport to you? I'll start there.
Not really.
Yeah, it's an athletic event,
yeah,
for sure, and a skill to be sure, and entertaining, no doubt. But it is interesting that ESPN is putting so much into it. But listen, they paid a lot for it, so that's the way it's going to go.
Well, and there's a reason. There's a lot of eyes there.
People love wrestling. They'll watch it. They will. So we'll see how it goes. But it's going to have some pregame fun.
I thought a few years ago wrestling was dying out.
What made you think that?
I don't know, because I wasn't interested in it anymore.
Oh, sure.
But geez, man, I think when WWE decided to do their own app, kind of premium streaming service, I think that really opened their eyes to how many people were really watching wrestling, and that's when they decided, oh, hey, everybody else is going to be interested in this as well.
You know what I think honestly made the difference? Because it was struggling for a bit when they lifted the veil, and they're like, yes, this is all set up. But look at how much work goes into making these things as entertaining for you as possible, and how
we still get hurt and beat the hell out of.
But how also these people get along and want to put on the best show possible. And there's also drama behind the scenes, and people love all that kind of stuff too. So I think turning it into more of a reality show and less of an event was the secret to the success. And having all these access to Netflix and ESPN now that can look behind the scenes and look behind that curtain, it makes it more fun.
Because now, once ESPN has it on, it's a legitimate mainstream. Yeah. And that's not something you would ever have thought. If you had a time machine and Vince McMahon went back and told him, hey, one day we're going to tell people what wrestling really is. And that Vince McMahon would be like, shut up, and then hits the old McMahon.
With a chair, right?
Yeah.
Knocks him out unconscious.
That's the movie I want to watch.
All right. Well,
that's the Back to the Future.
The time-traveling movie of Vince McMahon visiting himself?
Not Vince McMahon. He's not the greatest character person.
I was going to say, you picked a weird hero.
Maybe somebody else playing that role.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. Your pop culture smackdown next on the X Rocks.
Culture Smackdown. Right. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, we got tickets for you for free to X Fest October 1st out at the Fort Idaho Center Amphitheater. Chevelle, Asking Alexandria, Dead Poet Society, Venus Love. These could be yours if and when you beat me in Pop Culture Smackdown. You can do it. I know you can.
You think you know pop culture? Then now's the time to get on the phone. 208-287-1003, because being an actual pop culture aficionado could grab you some free tickets to X-Fest, but you got to knock Big J off of his pedestal first in order to claim that prize. Big J, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, to the phones we go.
Climb up to this pedestal.
Hello, the X. Careful.
Hey, good morning.
Morning, man. What's your name?
Thomas.
Thomas, what cartoon TV show takes place in the fictional city of Bedrock?
The Flintstones.
Right.
That is correct. You're officially taking on Big J. Big J, which Star Wars film introduced the character Lando Calrissian?
I'm going to go with Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
That is correct. Back to you, sir. I'm sorry, did I get your name?
Thomas.
Thomas, we need to know who co-wrote and directed movies like Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and Spaceballs.
Mel Brooks.
Correct.
Right.
Good job.
Big J, there were 5 members of the original Rat Pack. I need you to name 3 of them.
Let's go with Sammy Davis Jr.,
Right.
Frank Sinatra,
Right.
Don Rickles.
Wrong.
Don Rickles wasn't part of the Rat Pack?
Don Rickles was not part of the Rat Pack. No,
Dean
sir.
Martin?
Dean Martin was.
Right.
Should have went there.
Yeah.
Can you name the other 2?
John Wayne?
Wrong.
I don't.
Peter Lawford.
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
And then Joey Bishop
Right.
were the other 2 members of the Rat Pack.
I feel like I just see a lot of Don Rickles in with Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin and all of those.
They were all going to those roasts back in the day where they were
Oh, okay.
smoking and drinking and making fun of each other and saying those kind of jokes. That's how it was. But Don Rickles was not a member of that particular pack. No, sir.
Well, that's lame.
Well, don't. I mean,
It's not your fault. I'm
Thank
just
you.
saying those
That's
guys,
right.
they shouldn't have excluded him. He was very funny.
I'm not sure they excluded anybody. I'm not even sure that was a group they formed, but people just put him in that group. Congratulations, Thomas. You got tickets to go check out X-Fest 2025. Please hang on one second. We will make sure that you have everything that you need. Coming up in a few minutes, your headlines. That's next on the X Rocks.
Here's word on it.
For whatever that's worth.
It's Headlines on the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Headlines brought to you by Movers for Mutts. Join the X and 2 Men in a Truck this Friday, 3 to 5 at the Fred Meyer in Overland and 5 Mile in Boise as we help kick off Movers for Mutts. It's an opportunity for you to swing inside the Fred Meyer there, where we're going to be at. Pick up some essential pet items. We're talking food, treats, that kind of thing for dogs and cats. Leave them with us, and we will make sure they go directly to the Idaho Humane Society. The Humane Society right now experiencing unprecedented demand, so if you could find it in your heart to pop by on Friday, that would be great. Help the X and 2 Men in a Truck. Help out the Idaho Humane Society and win some stuff from us while you're out there. This Friday, 3 to 5 at Fred Meyer on Overland and 5 Mile from 100.3 The X Rocks. Headlines are as follows, Big J. Yes, chef. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And pay up.
Yes, chef.
Celebrity chef Valentino Lunchin is 62 years old, but he was arrested Wednesday after allegedly robbing 3 banks in one day across the city of San Francisco.
Damn.
The Italian-born head chef of Walnut Creek's Ottavio restaurant, which has 2 Michelin stars, was identified as a suspect who passed a demand note to a teller at a bank that afternoon. Police say Lunchin also robbed 2 other banks in the Central District on the same day. Community leads helped investigators track him down, and this marks Lunchin's 2nd arrest for bank robbery, Big J. Back in 2018, he was charged with using a BB gun to steal at least $18,000 from a city bank in Orinda, California, before fleeing in a Mercedes.
What's he doing out on the streets? Should be in prison.
During an interview, he said that he had been struggling a lot financially and went back to the one thing that he knew how to do really well, and that was robbing banks. Because the restaurant business is really hard regardless of how successful you are, Big J. And he wanted that bank money, I guess. He says he feels bad, for the record. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that sucks. But, dude, I don't think he can go just robbing banks.
That is against the law. I'll go on record as saying that. Absolutely. That should not be the solution to your financial woes. If you have got okay, I'm really deep down in it, I guess I'm going to rob a bank. That should not be on your list of things that possibly get you out of a problem.
You know what? I'm not going to rob 1 bank. I'm not going to rob 2 banks. I'm going to rob 3.
And he did it. He did rob 3 banks, and it took him a week and a half to find them. So, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, or pay up.
Pay up.
Big J, 2 weeks ago, a Shanghai court had a serious allegation against a couple of 17-year-old kids because there was videos on the internet of them urinating in a bunch of soup at a hot pot restaurant in where they worked in the city of Shanghai, which isn't great. The teenagers posted the video of their drunken act online, and that, of course, sparked widespread criticism, not just because they urinated in the soup, but because this Hidalgo hot pot restaurant is one of the most popular restaurants in the entire country. It has over 1,000 locations in China alone, and so it was a real problem. They're like, which one of these has it? How often is it happening? Etc. They say that nobody consumed the contaminated broth, but they had to compensate over 4,000 customers who visited the Shanghai branch and offered them full refunds plus cash payments worth 10 times their bills that they got that day as like an apology. So it's cost the restaurant a bunch of money. So now the court ruled yesterday, Big J, those little 17-year-old kids, they owe Hidalgo restaurants $2.2 million to pay back all of the problems they caused by urinating in soup. I don't think they can afford it, but they'll have their paychecks basically docked until they get to that 2.2 million won, which could take forever, Big J.
Yeah.
But that's why you don't urinate in things. Agree or disagree? Unless that thing's a
generally,
toilet.
yeah, a toilet is the target there.
Urinal. Wrap it up with, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Several competitors had to be disqualified from Scotland's World Stone Skimming Championships, Big J, because they were using artificially modified stones. The annual competition requires participants to use naturally occurring slate from the location, but officials discovered that some contestants wielded machine-shaped and smoothed rocks with artificial notches designed to improve their throwing. Event toss master Kyle Matthews received calls from worried competitors and contacted the rule breakers who confessed their violations. And they basically gave other people the championship because it found out the top 3 people were cheating their way to the championship. So that meant that Jonathan Jennings won the event. He's from Kentucky. He's the first American winner in the adult male category in the history of the World Stone Skimming Championships. So how about a congratulations for Jonathan?
Yeah, well done.
Now, it's like, he got beat, but he got beat by people that cheated, Big J. So he kept it on the up and up. Well played, sir. Enjoy your World Stone Skimming Championship trophy. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your headlines. You're up to date on everything. We got your first keyword of the day coming your way on the X Rocks.
Here's traffic inside.
That's Nirvana in Bloom here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. And we're going to bring back a thing that you probably haven't thought about for a couple of years, right, Big J?
Yeah, there's a couple things that haven't really been in the limelight, if we will, for all intents and purposes. But yeah, LimeWire. I don't know if y'all remember LimeWire. It came in after Napster, and you could go and get whatever song you wanted to in that trading thing. And it's still around.
Yeah, but it's more of like a file sharing kind of a thing. Like you can't like just grab stuff by random. You have to select people with whom to share. It's essentially like what's another version of what I'm thinking of, like an upload.
WeFile.
Yeah, there you go.
WeTransfer.
Yeah.
But I guess there was a bidding war, Nick, for the rights and intellectual properties for the Fire Festival. So that went down a few years ago, and it was just pretty much a whole fake thing that.
Yeah. A bunch of people bought a bunch of really expensive tickets to the Bahamas to check out this festival. It didn't have a full lineup. You just knew that like Ja Rule and Blink-182 were named, and then they got there and the stages weren't set up and they didn't have their yurts that they paid a ridiculous amount of money for, and then the food that they were getting was cheese sandwiches. And so lawsuits went through everything. Everybody sued everybody. They were stuck on this island forever, and then the organizer went to jail for wire fraud.
Yeah, exactly. And so now there was an eBay auction for the rights, Nick. Competing against LimeWire was Ryan Reynolds and his company, their Maximum Effort Marketing. And who knows what they would have done with that had they won that. But the company calls themselves Firefest. 2 of the most infamous names, Nick, in culture, and their CEO, Julian Zietmeyer, says that the fry became a symbol of hype gone wrong, but it also made history. We're not bringing the festival back. We're bringing the brand and the meme back to life, this time with real experiences and without the cheese sandwiches.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? That's exactly it. So Nobody knows, but they also go further and say the merger taps into real-world experiences, community, and surprise. Without giving any details, it will be, quote, bold, self-aware, and impossible to ignore.
Yeah, I doubt that.
So we'll see what comes of this, but I don't know, man. I mean, like, this seems like just continuing the hype of nothingness.
Right. I mean, like, obviously they don't want to do a music festival, which is what Fire Festival was supposed to be. They want to bring back the meme, whatever that means, and the brand, which never had a real winning kind of association with it to begin with. And they paid $250,000 for this right to do so.
Yeah. Well, people like to dunk on it. So, I mean, that's at least, clicks and eyes on stuff.
I suppose. So, best of luck. Have no idea what they plan on doing it, but Fire Festival will be coming back in some way, shape, or form, thanks to LimeWire, another thing you hadn't thought about in probably 7 years.
Yeah, here we are. They win. They won
that's right.
today.
That's probably what they paid for, just to mention.
You're welcome.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, your bad impressions. They're next on the X.
Bad impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, we got a nice Morning After prize package here for you for bad impressions. We got tickets to X Fest, baby, 2025, happening October 1st out at the Ford Idaho Center Amphitheater. And then we've got 2 tickets to the September Showdown Demo Derby happening on the 20th, coming up here at Saturday, friends, in Emmett at the Jam County Fairgrounds. So we'll get all this to you. You can figure out bad impressions this morning's very famous person.
All right, 208-287-1003 if you want this prize package. Big J will hit you up with 3 clues. Those 3 clues are supposed to point you in the direction of that famous person. If you can figure out who he's trying to be in those 3 clues or less, both of these prizes are yours. And then we hope that makes you pretty happy. Agree or disagree, Big J?
Agree.
Then to the phones we go. Hello, the X.
Hey, man, how's it going?
We're good, buddy. What's your name?
Adrian.
All right, Adrian, you're up first. Good luck.
I'm kind of on a roll right now, and wow, Bowser hit big with Mario Brothers, and then Steve from Minecraft landed pretty well.
Next one?
When will Tenacious D be back together? I'll get back to you on that one.
Is it Jack Black?
It is Jack Black.
Well done, Adrian. Hang on one second. Demo Derby tickets are yours, so are X Fest 2025 tickets. Well done. Hang on. What was clue 3 for fun?
My slate is getting pretty crowded with Jumanji 3 on the way, Minecraft 2, and Anaconda?
And why is Jack Black in the news?
The Anaconda trailer has released this morning, Nick, starring Paul Rudd and a cast of others. And so we didn't really know how this is going to come out, and now we know it's going to be a meta movie, them trying to remake Anaconda as indie filmmakers.
But
him and Paul Rudd.
It turns into a horror film as well.
Yeah, and so it looks awesome. I mean, the trailer, I think, reveals a little too much.
That's what I'm worried about.
They need to fix this. Like, we don't need every scene from the GD movie in it, man. It's just not the way it needs to be done. But it's coming out on Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas. I do feel like that Jack Black scene at the end of the trailer is a huge part of the movie, and like towards the end, and a huge mistake to include that in the trailer, because that's gonna. I mean, I'm guessing it's probably also like a 10-minute part of the movie, and it's like, you know how that part ends already because you watched the trailer. It is a bummer. You got to stop doing that, guys. You have to. And I know probably part of it is because you want to show the funniest parts of the movie in the trailer, because a comedy in theaters is so hard to make money that you want to try to sell it. But when you give away the whole movie in the trailer, it makes people not want to see it. You know what I mean?
I would like a deep dive research study from the last 10 years of movie trailers and how people respond to them, and whether or not that has anything to do with the reason why they might not want to go to a movie, because there is too much. Like, I used to love trailers, but it's gotten like there's too many of them and they reveal too much about the movie.
Each huge movie now has 3 to 4 movie trailers, all with different footage. And it's like, at what point do you kind of start putting the snake that eats its own tail kind of a thing? You know what I mean? It's a bad situation because it's just too many of these things. But you're wanting to keep your movie in the public consciousness as much as possible, and every time you release a new trailer, it does that. So I understand it, but it is frustrating as a moviegoer, which is why I want to miss the trailers when we go to our movies now, because I do think going in blind to some of these movies helps me enjoy them a little bit more.
You know, there's a viral hype that they're trying to get, but you only get that after it comes out. And it either happens or it doesn't sometimes. But either way, it's got my money. I can't wait. It looks hilarious.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. We will wrap up the show here next on the X Rocks. If you did not know, those guys are coming back. Dayseeker is now on the bill with In This Moment and the Funeral Portrait at the Rev Center coming up in just a few weeks, October 7th at the Rev Center. Tickets are available for that now. Always nice to see Dayseeker back in town after kind of pulling what was a surprise headline performance at the Rev Center a couple months ago. Good to see those guys come back to town. That's going to do it for the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We got to learn about warning you about, invisible husbands. That's something that could pop up here, there, and everywhere. So you don't want that to happen. Big J gave a thumbs up to the movie Friendship, which is available for you to stream on HBO Max if you like absurd comedies and you can put up with some cringe stuff. There's plenty of that in Friendship, according to Big J.
Not the typical cringe.
No.
Not like creep cringe. It's just weird, awkward cringe.
So you feel bad for somebody cringe. Big J, that leaves you with the floor, sir.
Hey, we're 10 days out from the Walk to End Alzheimer's. So if you hit up xrock.com, you will see there you can come join our team here at the X. And we would love to have you, an opportunity to donate money if you want. But it's going to be a special day. It's going to be a lot of fun out there at Kleiner Park. We'd love to have you. So go check it out. xrock.com is a great place to go. And you can find that as well on the app.
Yeah, jump on Big J's team and walk alongside or walk with or walk for and have yourself a good time. And the walk is always a wonderful kind of gathering of great people and resources that maybe people that are just kind of getting a diagnosis of Alzheimer's in their life can go for help, assistance, and resources. It's a great, great thing.
Absolutely.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. That is it for us. Jason Drew's coming in next. Have a good one. It's the X Rocks.